Just need a moment to set up the player names and get things going. Bam! Spawning in the top left-hand corner of Equilibrium, we have a player that is currently down 0-2 in this series. One more loss and he is out. His tournament run is over. Wish him the best. In the top left, we have the South Korean Terran player living in the land of Japan. Representing himself, it is HonMonO. The most honorable of monorables. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the best player in all of India representing Maturino Esports. It is Demi. Here we go. Potentially the final game of this series. Demi needs uno más, one more to go the distance, to go all the way. It all does come down to this. For now, hatch gas pool, standard opener. Oh, for the first time, ZvT. We're casting a ZvT for the first time today. Ah, I missed it. It's beautiful. So we have a hatch gas pool opening here from Demi, talking about Demi a little bit, talking about him as a player. He's a typically very standard player in this matchup in ZvT, and he is known for mutas, for mutalisks, papi. He is known as the Muta King here in Southeast Asia. He loves them, he's all about them. He likes them quite a lot, and whenever he can, he is willing to go into mass Muta. Doesn't mean that he's a one-trick pony, doesn't mean that that's what he has to do, but it's what he enjoys, it's what he really thrives on. And we'll see if he ends up heading in that direction at some point in this game. I'm sure he already has this series, but it's also going to be on what HonMonO brings to the table. I mentioned before, some of the nicknames of HonMonO. HonMech. He is willing to play mech, and he's pretty damn good at it, as he can slow the game down and turtle on up. Equilibrium is a map that you can cut in half, but at the same time, because of this gold base, it can be difficult to really take control away from the Zerg if Demi is able to take this gold base as his fourth. It looks like he's taking the standard linear third base here back at home, and we'll be saving that gold for a later date, a little bit later on instead. Meanwhile, even though HonMonO is known for his mech, it looks like he wants to go for a 3cc opener, and his bio play is honestly damn impressive. He has a lot of really good control, really good micro, as well as drop play that he can use to his advantage. But now, again, 3cc before starport, very economic here from HonMonO. I'm surprised. Usually I see him go, oh god. I understand. I was gonna say, usually we see him go 3cc 2-on-1. We see a second Rax before the third CC, but alas, that is not what we're seeing here. That is a second factory. I was mentioning it earlier, and I was bringing it up hoping that maybe they had already played mech, but no. Well, maybe they did, but once again, mech, papi. HonMech is making his re-debut on the channel. He's making his comeback. It's been a while. God damn it. Not like this. For now, again, we're just, or Demi at least is just saturating his bases, working on his queens, droning on up, doing everything that should occur. See in the chat, I was killing esports by streaming over the qualifier, not playing in it. I'm sorry. SJ, why didn't you play the qualifier, Papi? You could have been a part of this. You could have been here. We could have been casting you. SJ though. Shaking my head. But it is going to be Blue Flame behind this, and we are amassing Hellions to begin with for map control. Of course, Battle Mech has been changed in the most recent patches. We can head into Cyclone production as well. The Overlord dips in, and Demi does see the first factory, and he sees the second factory as well. He sees researching. For all he knows, this could be the Cyclone upgrade, Cyclone speed, but of course, as we know, it is a Blue Flame. And Hellions are being spotted, so Demi sees everything he needs to. He throws down a Roach Warren. He's going to be working on additional gases. The Hellions have arrived, but we do have the Queens in position, and we have plenty of Lings on the way to keep up with the first wave of Hellions. Obviously, Hellions do well against Lings, but this early on, Zerg have to rely on Lings to just lock them down while we buy time for the Roaches. Third base is being taken. Two more 2 more factories are thrown down. Let's go. We're doubling down. Tank production has commenced. Cyclones as well. The Hellions, they go straight for the mineral line. Oh, the drones, they line up for one moment. Big volley on the drones. The Lings get completely roasted. They melt here before these Blue Flame Hellions, and they're making their way towards the mineral line. Up! And they do get in, and they will take down 9, 10, 11. Oh, God. 11 workers, and most Hellions make it out alive. 11 workers, 28 Lings for 3 Hellions. As we're able to rotate around, clean up a little creep before backing off. Again, the Lings were out of position, so were the Queens. Demi just wasn't able to keep up in time and did lose, or did pay a price for it. And HonMonO knows to calm down. You know, he's got momentum going his way, but he has to calm things down and recoup, recover, consolidate his army before going in again. Behind this, there's that Spire. We were talking about it. If Demi can get away with it, motas. The Mutas will be on the way. The Hellions, they just run past the Queens. They go straight for the natural base. The Lings are in position. The Roaches are coming out, but is it too late? Half of the Hellions do go down, and HonMonO, he's bleeding out a lot of units. He does make his way into the main base, and so far the split is looking good enough. Couple of drones do line up. Oh God, they line up. 4 drones go down, and that was a much better trade for Demi. The initial loss was brutal for Demi to lose, what, 11 drones earlier to 3 Hellions. But here, 12 Hellions go down for 4 drones. So again, a better trade. That was an overextension out of HonMonO. He got a little bit too greedy. He got a little bit too excited. And again, he just went for something that wasn't quite there. He saw an opening, but it was a fake out. And yeah, with that, Demi, he's recovering. Not just that, because of this gold base, even though he lost a bunch of workers earlier, he Maynards over to the gold. He takes advantage of that. He fully saturates it, and this means that he will be able to recover and catch back up. Behind this, we have speed on the way. We have Thors as well. Did we scout the Spire? We did. Okay, so it looks like with the Hellion dive, the Spire was scouted. So we have a big reaction to it with Cyclones and Thors on the way. Full anti-air production for HonMonO. Meanwhile, Demi opted not to make any mutas. He did finish the Spire, and he does have +1 air attack on the way. But again, I love this choice from Demi. Because he knows he got scouted, he's respecting HonMonO enough to recognize that HonMonO will be ready for the mutas, so we don't make any. But we still upgrade. Why? Because we're going to be going and committing to Roaches, and eventually we're going to kill these Cyclones, and we're going to kill these Thors. And HonMonO, upon recognizing how Roach heavy Demi is, he's going to focus on a ground army and start working on tanks once again. And when the Thor count is low again, that is when we can make mutas. This is the power of Zerg, especially against mech, because mech needs to adapt and adjust their composition based on what the Zerg is making. Likewise, if the Zerg sees an opportunity, muta switches can work very well against mech. Not if they're prepared for it, but again, as the game goes on, there can be opportunities. There can be moments for that. On top of that, with a hive on the way, we can't even just work towards Broodlords, but that goes the same way. Like, we have plenty of Thors already for Broodlords. Now is not the time. Later on, sure. It is the dynamic of ZvT, of ZvMech even. For now though, both players just building themselves up. Demi taking another hatchery, getting his 5th even. Likewise, HonMonO saturating his 4th. Planetary is done. Roaches come in for a bit of a scout, and they confirm the base is taken. And the Hellions do rotate around towards the south, just cleaning up even more of that creep. And it looks like Demi just maxing out on Lingbane Road Trapper. We have a couple of Vipers on the way, which will help against these siege units. Against the Thors. I mean, against everything, actually. But likewise, HonMonO is also moving out on the cusp of maxing out as well. And Demi, he has to engage sooner rather than later. He has to engage, clean up some of these units, and then just remax as quickly as possible. But HonMonO already halfway across the map. He's getting caught on siege. Hellbats, they put in a lot of work. 2 tanks go down. Only 2 tanks, but we clean up most of those Hellbats. And from here, Demi, he is remaxing. Meanwhile, HonMonO barely touched the creep. And he still has a long ways to go. So HonMonO, he is being slowed down. He just plummeted in supply. And you can see here behind this, he's remaxing on more tanks than Cyclones. Which means, again, if these Thors fall, these 5 Thors, if they go down, then suddenly we can go into Mutas or even Broodlords. Whichever we want. But now that we're focusing on a ground army, once again, we're going to be rolling on in. The tanks are on siege for a moment. Good blinding clouds on these Thors. Once again, blinding clouds on the tanks as well. The Vipers are being focused down, but this is a good trade for Demi. He cleans up most of the army, takes down the Thors and the tanks. And Demi, he can just keep on pushing, getting the final tank as well. Oh, this is an overextension. I'm not too sure about this for Demi. Is going to get 2 more Thors, takes down 2 tanks, but he's bleeding out units quite heavily. Oh, yeah, these Ravagers are going to go down. A bit of an unnecessary trade for Demi, as he does have to remax. Again, he has to start from scratch again. He could have preserved these Ravagers. He had a good start, but again, pushed forward a little bit too far. Behind this, HonMonO, he is wary of the potential of an air unit or an air transition. So we have another Thor on the way, Cyclones as well, tanks. He is trying to anticipate what Demi is remaxing with. But again, Demi is burning through his bank after that trade. He does get on top of some of these Cyclones and the tanks even. Oh, this is a rough moment for HonMonO. He's getting caught out. Oh, the tanks are falling one after the other. Ay, ay, ay. The tanks, they do siege, but HonMonO gets surrounded. Yeah, the tanks fall. The Lings, they should be able to close the gap here. Get on top of the Cyclones. Only 3 Cyclones will survive. But that was a good trade for Demi. And Demi, his economy has been left untouched for quite some time. This gold base is more than paying for itself. HonMonO going to try and take a 5th. Demi sees it, he knows, and he rotates around. And now, Corruptors are on the way. Now is the time. How much anti-air do we have? 2 Thors. Not too bad. 2 Thors. Some Cyclones. Oh, once an overextension. These Ravagers, they go down for free. But at the same time, Demi does deny the 5th. As the Cyclones are getting caught out. The Thors as well. The tank's not quite in position to really support this, and yeah, HonMonO, he's bleeding out a bit too much. Being contained to 4 bases. Demi with those Broodlords, with those Corruptors, we have Broodlords on the way. Now HonMonO, he is going back into Thor production, thankfully. He's aware of what is going on. Starport's on the way for Vikings even as well. This is a big reaction here to deal with Broodlords. I'm not too sure how I feel about this, especially considering that we only have 5. There aren't that many. We have 5 Broodlords to support, and we have mainly a ground army, which means that even if HonMonO kills these Broodlords, Demi, he can just rotate back to a Roach Ravager composition instead. Meanwhile, the base is being taken, being muled as we speak. Demi pushing on forward. He will be able to catch a tank. Oh, Demi has to be very careful with his ground army. He can't push in. As he's going to take a lot of tank shots to the face. Decent files will be connecting, but Demi cannot overextend. Again, this area is just so congested. Gets a factory, and he's going for the mineral line. And that is an area that he can attack. SCVs are going to be going down. Files as well. We do have a lot of Thors, but HonMonO will lose his 3rd base, and even more than that. CC falls, we can rotate around. These mules, they're putting in a lot of work. But Demi is about to max. Files once again connecting, taking down Thors. Now, we don't have much anti-air, so the Vikings are going to be able to force back the Broodlords, but I mentioned this before. We don't even need these Broodlords. We can just go back into Lingbane Roach Ravager. Up! And with that, we do see Demi maxed once again. He's getting into Infestors to help support his army. Of course, Neural as well to help take control of those Thors. Demi should now be focusing on this southern base. Still not a planetary, by the way, so all it takes is a Ling run by. One Ling run by can annihilate this mineral line. Looks like HonMonO, though, he's in position to protect. Scans ahead of time, misses the army as Demi rotates over towards the top right instead. Sensor towers on the way that will help with protecting this location. And Demi's been maxed for a while. It looks like he's waiting for his upgrades to kick in. He's waiting for the Infestors, waiting for Neural. He is giving HonMonO the time that he needs to take control of this base and to actually max. HonMonO, his army is slowly getting larger and larger and higher quality. Liberators are on the way, and I worry that Demi did just give HonMonO too much time. Like, Demi is still in a commanding position, don't get me wrong. Getting back into more Broodlords. But again, HonMonO, he's got a chance now. He's got a chance to establish his base, maybe even take the gold. And max. Lib range on the way, additional Liberators. HonMonO just trying to fortify himself back at home. Just trying to wall off. And the game is going to settle a little bit for now. Up. The mine. Oof. Takes down the Ravagers. Also scouts the rotation, by the way. So free scout for HonMonO. That one mine putting in a lot of work, and we can see HonMonO rotate around. Has spotted the movement of Demi. This mine even seeing Demi's army move back up to the
Looks like we're going to the late game.
HonMonO's a diva enjoyer, of course. But does see Demi rotating back. And now HonMonO's maxed out. And this is why I have to be concerned, because with a maxed out army, HonMonO, he can trade more efficiently. And if Demi takes one bad fight, even though Demi has a bank, like obviously he has a 4k, 3k bank, things can snowball and escalate very quickly. And if HonMonO takes one good fight, he can try and push out and take down bases as well, before Demi can remax. So this is a very scary moment, or a tense moment for Demi. Additional starports are on the way so we can remax. Fusion core is done. We can potentially go into BCs if possible after a fight. And we're just trying to deal with some of these missile turrets. HonMonO just completely just walling up, walling off. Earlier, we saw HonMonO struggling to even hold on to his third, let alone a fourth. Sorry, let alone a fifth. But not anymore. Not anymore. Again, some good tank volley is going to be going off. One of these Broodlords are going to go down. We have a massive amount of Liberators and Vikings. This is an air army that can just bully these Broodlords. We can take them down one after the other. Where are the Infestors, by the way? We need them. We need the Fungals. The Infestors are out of position. And every Broodlord is going to go down. When we needed you most, where were the Fungals, Papi? The Infestors now coming in. And now we can work our way towards battle cruisers. Yeah, this is the correct move here for HonMonO. As he loses his army, he will be replacing it with Sky Terran. Now, we can potentially kill a base here. Like, we can... I really want us to just run in. But this army from Demi, it's lacking here. He's got a lot of Lingbane Roach Ravager, and he can take down bases. He can potentially try and pull apart his opponent. But in a head-to-head fight, HonMonO, he can snowball out of control. The Balians are rolling on in. We're going straight for the Planetary. The Planetary does go down. Again, this is something that we could have done much sooner. Lings are trading well. They take down some of the Cyclones. Behind this, we are remaxing. Taking down some SCVs. And again, I do feel like we do have to rely a lot more on spellcasters for Demi. He gets one Liberator in the end. Whether it's parasitic bombs on these Vikings, or fungals on the Vikings, or a combination of both. Especially considering the species transition, which Demi doesn't see. And if we can hit critical mass of battlecruisers, then HonMonO will win. He will dominate the skies and dominate the fights in general. But here we go. A couple of bases are falling. One of them may even burn down. Oof. It barely will. Oh, these corruptors, they're going to be hunted down. There's just too much anti-air, too many Vikings, too many Liberators. Every single corruptor will fall for free, almost. We have a couple of Neurals, which help a little bit, I guess. It looks like we may kill one Lib, maybe. Give us the Fungals. We go for the Neurals instead. Try to get some splash damage. Biles will be connecting. A pretty messy fight, but the Infestors are going down. Oh, they're going down to Liberation Zones. Meanwhile, the Thors are caught out. A big moment here for Demi. He gets 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Thors. Oh my god, every single Thor even. And the tanks, the ground army does break through. But here come the BCs. Here come those battle cruisers. As they dive on the Spire, they take it down, and no more Corruptors can be made. The only way to deal with these BCs now, as we have 3 Spires in production at almost every single base, is Infestors with Neurals. Now, Demi has a lot of money to work with. He's busting on through. We're going for a base trade, essentially. BC's in the main, and Demi busting into the main base as well of HonMonO. There are a lot of Hellions with Blue Flame. They're being surrounded. The Hive will fall. Demi has a bank, but he's not making anything. Again, give us some Infestors at least. They can help. They can help, Bappy. Neural is better than nothing. Oh, 2 Spires are caught. 2 Spires go down. 1 Spire left. And we do see HonMonO, he's looking for the Spires. Yeah, he's scanning, he's looking for them. He's trying to find where the tech is, and the Spire is seconds away from finishing. Only 1 on the way. There is no lair, we can't make another. This is a scary moment here for Demi. Infestation Pit is done. Well, it's ready. We need Corruptors, 27 Corruptors on the way. Don't go in prematurely. Oh, these Corruptors will go down. Spire falls. 27 Corruptors is all that Demi has. We have the infestation. We can still make it for. There we go. 8 Infestors in production. Let's go. HonMonO, he's got a base mining. He takes down the southern hatchery. Oh, again, we are bleeding out Corruptors. We're going to get 1 battlecruiser. But even more Corruptors go down. Expensive losses here for Demi. Looking at the units tab, 6 BCs. But I think Demi should have enough. Yeah, it takes down a battlecruiser. Takes down another as well. Demi has done it. He cleans up the army. GG gets called, and Demi will be the last player to qualify for the ESL Masters Winter Asia Closed Qualifier. GG. GG, well played. Whew. Congratulations, as Demi will make it through. My condolences to HonMonO. He almost pulled it off. Again, if he found that last spire a little bit sooner, and if he would have denied that spire, there would have been no anti-air. There would have been no corruptors to deal with those BCs, and HonMonO may have just won the game then and there by shutting down the potential to make corruptors. Oh, GG. And with that, Demi will make it through. My condolences to HonMonO. Again, he fought hard these past couple of days trying to make it into and make it through these qualifiers. Alas, he barely did not make it through. He was barely taken out here today by Demi, and yesterday as well by some of the other players. Oh. And yeah, with that, congratulations. With that, GG, well played. And that wraps up our broadcast here, our broadcast for the Asia qualifier. We still have two more. We have the European qualifier in 2 hours, and we have the Americas qualifier in 7 hours. So we still, the night is still young. You know, it may be 1 a.m. here in Australia, but plenty more StarCraft to come tonight. For those that again are tuning in, that was the final chance here for our players to make it into the closed qualifier, and the closed qualifier is tomorrow in less than 24 hours. In less than 24 hours, we will be casting and covering the closed qualifier. And we are going to be taking a bit of a break. Yesterday I turned off the stream, but here I'll just put the stream on break. We have finished up one qualifier, but again in 2 hours we have the European qualifier, which we will also be casting. We've been casting every single region. Fun fact: we are the only casters to cast 3 regions. We're also the only casters to cast 2 regions. I was a little bit disappointed yesterday to see so many to see that we were the only ones to cover Asia. Even today we were the only ones to cover Asia. It's a shame. It is a bit of a shame. You know, hopefully the closed qualifier brings some of the other community casters, like, I don't know, like Roddy or Wardy or Zombie Grub or Steadfast or Chicken Man or any of the other casters. You know, these qualifiers, they matter. There's a lot of weight behind them. EPT, ESL Pro Tour, is the most important tournament for a lot of these players. It's really a lot of their only chances to kind of make any money here, outside of the online weeklies. But the online weeklies, they're dominated by, you know, players like Dark and Bjorn and Clem and Max Pax. I'm talking about like the ESL Open Cups, for example. So yeah, these regionals, they're pretty impactful. They matter a lot. So yeah, hopefully we get some more coverage. Regardless, we do our best. We do the best we can, as best we can. So thank you so much everyone for watching. Thank you so much for your support. I'm going to be going on a break. I'm going to be getting some water, getting some tea. Don't forget to hydrate your hydras, stretch your roaches, cook your colossus, tuck in your tempest, massage your marines. Thanks for watching, everyone. If you want to support the CranKy Ducklings, !socials in the chat. Ooh. !socials in the chat. If you do wish to follow us, we have Twitter, we have Facebook, we have Instagram, we have YouTube, and we have a Discord server as well. If you want to interact, you can support us on Patreon. You can support us here on Twitch monetarily if you wish, through donations or subscriptions, or however you wish. Otherwise, follow us. Follow us is all we ask. A follow is all we do ask. As we are going to be going on a 2-hour break. So very long break here, very long break. Enjoy yourselves and come back in 2 hours for the European qualifiers. See you then. See you then. Until then, hasta luego. Bye. Bye.